The following presentation is for mature audiences only.
Who are you?
He's a fine man.
All hell is broken loose.
He's a great broadcaster.
He's a very powerful guy.
Absolutely brilliant.
Feared by men, adored by women.
He's a smart boy. It's patriotic.
It's no big deal.
It's the end of the world.
I might as well tell you now. He's a monkey.
And how you doing, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? Welcome into another edition of The Wild Side with Eric Clark. I'm your host, Eric Clark, saying thank you for taking time out of your busy day to give my little video a watch and a listen. If you like it, like it. If you think other people are going to dig it, give it a share. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and you're following me on all the social media platforms. That way, if there's a band, song, video, something you want me to check out, hit me with a DM. We'll go from there. If you are going to hit me with a DM, please no spamming. If you are going to hit it in the comment section, you know the drill, man. Give it a cursory glance. If you see your suggestions been made, leave a like, and I concur. That'll help me get it into the handy-dandy notebook. Also, don't forget Wednesdays and Saturdays, the Wild Side Live. 2 hours of fun and frivolity live streaming from the east side of Nashville, Tennessee. 11 a.m. Wednesday, 11 to 1 Wednesday Central Time, and Saturday 2 to 4, the Wild Side Live. Another opportunity for you to hang out and get me your suggestions. Before we get to today's video, I do want to say thank you to Connect 200 Music to See, and of course, Aunt Betty's Nut Butter. Today's video is coming from the live stream, then Instagram, then Facebook as a reinforcement. Today we are back on the Nightwish train, and I promise I will get through the entire catalog one of these days. You guys keep, I think you guys are doing a better job of keeping up what I haven't done than I have. So thank you very much for the reminders. Today we are going to Buenos Aires, and we're checking out Nightwish live, Slaying the Dreamer. Remember, Concurpas, fill me in down below with everything I need to know about this performance, the time, the history, all that stuff. You guys know what you're doing, man. I trust you. I don't even have to ask. So let's check it out. Nice. That melody.
I'm a priest for the poor and sacrifice.
cheat code. Yeah, that's cheat code, bro. That is absolute cheat code. Nightwish, Slaying the Dreamer, my ass. You slayed that song. Good, as they say in the South, good law. That was an incredible display of frenetic composition and control of chaos. Perfect. Again, I'm running out of things to say about these guys. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, the amount of layers that are happening here. And I really like the everybody scream at the end. Everybody was screaming at the end. I want to look at something, though, because there was something that was happening, and I didn't think about it. I just want to hear something, just to make sure my ears were hearing me correctly. Okay, hold on. Wow, dude, that's subtle. That is subtle right there. That little thing he's doing with his hand on the key, just hitting that one note on the keys. See that right there? Okay, that sound, what he's creating with those hitting that is a specific sound, right? It's a it taps into this danger in you because it's so similar to a horror film. That tone is so familiar to a horror film that it strikes this chord of impending doom within you, right? And just lying under the surface there is that thread that you pick up, and it creates with the screaming and the bass driving and the guitar wailing and her vocals, Floor's vocals, going from that chasmic depth to the pinnacle highs, and it's creating that. Kai and Tuomas are really doing a really good job. I'm sorry, that was redundant. Kai and Tuomas are doing a wonderful job of creating that sense of forward-moving darkness between them. So while Marco is also jumping in and building bridges within the drum and the key, really the driving force here, the driving mood, the tone. And again, this guy is just so brilliant at understanding how to create those layers. So while you have your guitar and your vocals creating the higher layer on the trifle, if you will, the frosting of the layer cake, underneath it is this perfectly composed in and out of drum, key, bass, drum, key, bass, drum, key, bass, drum, key, bass. And it's all these cool little subtleties that are going on that create this overwhelming sense of impending doom is really what you're getting here. It's maybe not doom, but gravity. Okay? Like there's a the colors that are being created with the drum, the bass, and the keys, while being fresh and being bright, they're very grounded. They're very heavy in their thickness, in their weight. When pushing through the spectrum, they're like it's like a fish, a phish, a fish, where you have no choice but to be pulled along by it as it's coming down the tube or the pipe. It's pushing everything in front of it. It's this really cool driving, multi-layered, foundational tone. And when Floor and Marco were singing, I wrote down harmonies if Jefferson Airplane were metal. And what I mean by that is the credibility, the credulity of the singers involved. So with Mickey, you're talking about a male vocal that is clean. It is a clean, powerful vocal with Mickey T. And with Grace, there was a time where her grit, the dirtiness of her voice could create not only a dirty chord, but then it could also go to an ethereal color, to a more spring tone. And that's what Floor and Marco were doing here, playing off of each other. And I've always said I love this guy's vocals. I love Marco's vocals because of his the way that he eschews the expected flow of a normal vocal. He takes them sometimes. I liken it to Dwight Yoakam with the yodel at the end. James Hetfield's with the yeah at the end of everything. The way Marco will change a direction within his own vocal, going against what your brain is expecting, because your brain is expecting a vocal to go in certain ways, in certain directions, and he takes it in a different direction. And even though it's unexpected to your ear, and it's unexpected to the color spectrum, it fits. So it's one of those colors you didn't know you needed, kind of a thing. And Floor, I mean, shoot, I could fill this entire book with synonyms to describe her voice. And not just her voice, but her control of it. So everybody's got this danger zone. There's this danger zone right around in here, and I'm sure a vocal teacher can talk way more about it than I can. But working in the industry that I've worked in forever, you learn how to take care of your instrument. And there are danger zones there, and it can turn a scream to a screech. It could turn a yell to a rattle. Right? So you have to be careful when using that in that high impact. And when I say impact, I mean air coming out. The pushing of the note, the pushing of the word, the pushing of the lyric. She is so good at keeping everything in the corral and starting and ending with a thickness and a richness that are really unique in her ability, because a lot of times you'll hear onsets and offsets, you'll hear people ramp, especially live. Even when Marco kind of turned around and did the little movement towards her and she jumped back, she stayed in that vocal, right? You didn't hear huh or anything like that. She stayed in the vocal, even in the movement. So that tells you how much control she has of her instrument and her ability to go from, like I said, those dirty chords up into those ethereal colors. What she's then able to do is become this thread through that driving impetus between the bass, the drum, and the keys. So this bass, drum, and keys are this really forward driving momentum, and Marco's vocals are then this bridge to her harmony, and then her harmony just weaves right back into that dark earth tone while sprinkling in these really cool springtime colors as well, these rebirth colors, the fresh colors, if you will, through the color spectrum. So then I have to talk about my man. I got to talk about Puck. So I had this cat named Puck. He's named after the Shakespeare character, this elfish sprite, always causing problems. And if you knew my cat, you would say, dude, that cat is totally Puck. That's how I see Empu. He is the Finnish army knife of progressive metal guitar players. His ability to create such a wonderful, historic, and legendary tone that you've never heard before. So I'm sitting here and that's, again, you've got to be good at what you do when you can make someone hear a song for the first time and immediately start to think, I know that. Like, I know that tone. I know this. I know that progression. I know that, but I don't, because I've never heard it before. So to be able to do that means that Empu is capable of capturing history in a tone while creating modernity in the delivery of that tone. So he's taking a tone that is 50 years old. It's 50, 60-year-old tone. And he's able to just shave things off and then paste on his own colors around it. So like I said, it creates this feeling of legacy that then collides with modernity in your head, and then you realize, no, I've never heard this before, but what it does is provide what I've always talked about, which is a comfortable sound and tone that you can connect to. So when you're listening to music, a song or a band for the first time, you're looking for that connection. You're looking for the lifeline of familiarity. And this guy, man, is so good. He's so good at capturing that familiar tone that you've never heard before. It's just brilliant the way he does it, and he's so clean. There's no even if he slides, there's no grit here. He's such a clean player. But there's still, like I said, man, there's still grit, there's still darkness, there's still foreboding, there's still all of the elements that metal takes. But it's so clean and it's so clear. And when I say clean, I don't mean, like happy. That's not what I mean. I mean, it's clear, it's thick, it is rich, it is textured every time. And the dude is just so good at what he does, man. He's the Finnish army knife of guitarists, and the ability for Tuomas to just turn things over to these guys, and they turn around and do something like this. Again, I talk about being in a pocket and how a band is in a pocket, and when you watch them perform, they're in this pocket midway through the song, man. It is a V12 hitting on all cylinders, and the turbos getting ready to kick in, and then they show that scene from the crowd. That's where you can see it. And again, Tuomas Holopainen is a composer. Just happens to work in metal. So everything is built properly. It's built, right? He knows what he's doing. So when it gets to that point of fervor, that point where the crowd universally is in the pocket with them, and because they're not playing an instrument, they have no choice but to just let it out. That's when you know you did it right. That's when the two energies are colliding in the ether and creating that perfect white light around the moment. And that's what I'm looking for. So you've got the band on stage, and they're in it, dude. They are in that pocket. They are in that groove, and they're not coming out. And it's such an indelible groove and a tone and a rhythm that is universal, that there's no choice. But the people out here, this other element of energy, the collective energy, has no choice but to get pulled in and get built up with it. So when the band lets loose, they're all on the same page. And it's absolutely just wonderful to see. So thank you very much for that suggestion. Slaying the Dragon again. You slayed that track, man. That was well done. Nightwish, thank you very much for the suggestion. Again, if you have suggestions, hit me up with a DM on social media. Leave it in the comments down below. We also have the live stream Wednesdays, 11 a.m., Saturdays, 2 p.m. Central Time, Wyldeside Live from the east side of Music City. Another chance to get your suggestions to me that way as well. Thank you to Connect 200 Music to See, and of course, Aunt Betty's Nut Butter. Thank you to all of you for being my Sherpas on this new music journey of mine, on this exploration of mine, my Concurpas. Thank you very much. Make sure you're looking out for each other. Make sure you're looking out for your neighbor. Try to do at least one good thing a day. I am Eric Clark, and this has been The Wyldeside.